please tell me, what is it called when you're sleepwalking? Mary Kate, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when you fall right into REM sleep in the middle of movement, walking? Rusty is the perfect example. What is it? James, on your whiteboard, please tell me, cocaine is what type of drug? What type of drug, Nick? Stimulant. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is heroin? What is it? Bella? Narcotic. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when at night I can't breathe? I literally lose consciousness because the back of my tongue closes off. Mia?
Sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what part of your brain is the most active and is most involved in both sleeping and drug use? During states of consciousness, what part of your brain is the most active? 1, 2, come on, we talked about this yesterday. 3, 4, no. What is it, Macy? Hypothalamus. On your whiteboard, please tell me, how many cycles does the average person go through per night? Eva? 7. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what does REM stand for? What is it? Valeria? On your whiteboard, please tell me, if I'm in my deepest sleep, what wave am I emitting? What is it, Sophia? Delta. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what wavelength? What is it, Skylar?
Beta.
Beta. On your whiteboard, please tell me, when we go from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it has a specific nickname. What is the nickname of our sleep cycles? Goes down, goes back up, goes down, goes back up. What's the nickname of the whole cycle going from beta to beta? What do we call it? We talked about it yesterday. It has a nickname now. Paradoxical. Why is it called paradoxical? Why, Chris?
Because your brain waves are like very active when you're sleeping as you are awake.
There you are, absolutely. Theoretically, stage 5 is your deepest sleep, yes? But you have the most active brain. Paradoxical. It's a paradox. It's weird. On your whiteboard, please tell me, please tell me, what machine do we use to track brain waves? What is it, Mia?
EEG.
On your whiteboard, please tell me, a larger change or a more significant the change, the more likely you are to notice is what? What is it, Annie? Weber's Law. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called? Some people will notice a small change, but for people like me, who are complete morons, it takes a big change for me to notice. What is that called? Eva? Just noticeable differences. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what category does LSD fall under? What the hell does that say? No, that's never been a term we've used here. What is it, Peyton? Hallucinogenic?
I was thinking like they have to make it so it's synthetic.
Skylar, should I be worried about AP Psych in you?
No.
Skylar, man. Are you okay? You got planned to sleep this weekend? You have a low-key week this weekend?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, alright. Because you're making me nervous. Alright, here we go. The fascia cilia move causes what? What theory is that? Fascia cilia move. What is it, Smith?
Frequency.
Frequency. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Where does actual transduction occur on in the ear? Where is it, Mary Kate? On your whiteboard, please tell me. What are the 4 layers of the retina? Retina is the final layer, by the way. What are they, Hannah?
You put it on my floor and wasn't coming.
There you go. You need to know your order for tomorrow, people. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What actually sharpens the image? Good. So I'm not thrilled, but I'm not horrified. Not thrilled, but not horrified. So please make sure you are looking through its lens, by the way. Please make sure you are looking through. I'm not thrilled, but I'm not horrified. So that's about as much positive regard as I can give you for that. So make sure tomorrow is kind of a tough test. Absolutely. You saw last week's test. It's only going to get harder as we go. So today I'm doing learning. So if you have your focus and your study guide from learning, I would take it out. I'm going to use my PowerPoint because I think it's easier. I'm going to go through this super, super, super fast because there's a lot of stuff in learning. Okay? So when we're talking about learning, anytime they talk about learning, they're always going to start typically with classical conditioning, and of course that's Pavlov. Now, on your test tomorrow, on your test on the AP exam, Pavlov is going to be on there. There's no way it would never. Literally, my world will burn down if Pavlov's not on that damn test on the 2nd, because he's always on that test. With that being said, as soon as you see a Pavlov question and they're saying UCS, UCR, CS, CR, and all that stuff, the first thing I would do if I was you, I would literally sit there and chart out the UCS, UCR, CR, CS chart that we're going to go over today. Does that make sense? Because they're going to give you a scenario based off classical conditioning. Which of the following would be the CS, the CR, the UCR, UCR? You know what I mean? So I would chart out immediately, just scratch it out on the test and say, this is this, this is this, in order to keep it organized for yourself, because it can get confusing if you do it all in your head. Can we agree? Okay, so that's one of the more confusing parts. So Pavlov, of course, is your guy behind classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is elicited responses, not voluntarily. The dogs don't get to choose. So when we talk about classical conditioning, we have all these UCSs, UCRs, and all that crap, which I'm going to get to the little chart here in a second, which is how I like to review it. So when we talk about it, this is what you need to be thinking of. This is what I would write down in the columns of the test, saying, hey, so before conditioning even begins, so before any bell ringing has even occurred, the bell is a neutral stimulus, which means it has 0 value to it. Okay? No salvation. During conditioning, we're ringing the bell and giving him the food. That is going to become the actual conditioning. When we ring the bell and give the food, ring the bell, give the food, ring the bell, give the food, that's what actual conditioning is. Now, before conditioning, if we gave a dog, okay, maybe not right now because Toby isn't eating anything right now. If I gave Toby a bowl full of food, would he salivate? Yes. Would your dog salivate to it? Yes, any dog would, because it's an unconditioned stimulus, correct? Hello? Okay, the unconditioned response. Did I train Toby to drool at food? No. I haven't trained Toby to do pretty much anything, so why would I train him to do that? Okay, if you know Angus, Ren's dog, you know Ren, his dog, he can go, and the dog falls over. Toby sometimes sits when I asks. Okay, so I have not trained him to do any of those wild and crazy things, so definitely haven't trained him to drool. Now, if every time I presented him, aren't you glad you see my bell? So if every time I ring the bell, give him food, ring the bell, give him food, essentially he's going to affiliate the bell with food. And this will eventually be the Conditioned stimulus, and the conditioned response will be the
Salivation.
salivating. So without any food within 100 miles of the dog, I ring the bell. What's the dog going to do? Salivate. So as soon as you see a question on classical conditioning, I would just write out this chart. Neutral stimulus, bell. And that way, when they give you a scenario of their own creation, which is probably how they're going to do it, you can just kind of plug and chug and you'll have the answers right there, because it does get a little confusing. Now, when we talk about classical conditioning, there are some other things they do to sometimes turn in. So stimulus generalization is when, if I trained you on this bell, but I rang this bell, you would drool to this bell. Does that make sense? If I rang this bell, you would drool to this bell. In a real life situation, every time I grab the leash for Toby, Toby runs to the door. Okay? That's real life classical conditioning, because every time I grab the leash, that means we're going outside, so Toby goes to the door and waits for me. Okay? Stimulus generalization would be if I grabbed a jump rope and walked to the door, guess what Toby would do? He would go to the door because it looks like the leash. He doesn't care if it's my actual black leash or rainbow colored jump rope. He doesn't care. He would meet me at the door. Stimulus discrimination is he'd only go to the door if I had my black leash. He would only drool if I rang this bell, not this bell. Stimulus generalization, discrimination. Everyone's okay with that? Okay, they're probably going to tie it to a real world situation, so think of it in the context of the dog, the leash, whatever. Extinction is, if I never take Toby on a walk again, and I pull out the leash, do you think Toby's going to go to the front door? No, probably not, because he hasn't gone for a walk in years, okay? That would be extinction. Okay? Now, spontaneous recovery, if I haven't taken a Toby for a walk in years and I grab the leash and he kind of like walks over to the door like, oh, this is weird. I don't know why I'm doing this. That would be spontaneous recovery. Okay? All right, here we go. On your board. On your whiteboard, please tell me the bell before conditioning is what? The bell before conditioning is what? Hannah? Neutral stimulus. On your whiteboard, the drooling after conditioning is what? Good. See, it does take a second to kind of figure it out in your head, right? That's why you should just write it down as soon as you see it on the exam. If you see it on Saturday, you should just write down the little thing on your little Scantron and just have it going. What is it, Matt? No. Chris. Conditioned response. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the unconditioned response? Good, good. What is the unconditioned response? Nick? Salivation. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when, if I've conditioned Toby to treat time song, I've conditioned the cats to the treat time song. What is their conditioned response to the treat time song? It's treat time for the babies. It's treat time for the babies. Good. What is it, Anna? Run to the kitchen. I know. I did use that example, I believe. Didn't I sing to you before? Yeah. Okay, I heard the cats that way. They come to me. Can
They really come?
Yeah, they really do. They live for it. Wherever they are, you can just hear their 4 little feet hit and go. And even if Toby's on the ground, they'll just jump over him to get to treat time. It's the funniest thing. And McCray really gets into it, and sometimes he does different versions of it. You probably wouldn't want me telling you that. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the gentleman who started classical conditioning? There you go. All right, perfect. Who is it, Skylar? Pavlov. All right, here we go. So higher order conditioning. That's when you have 2 stimulus. So Toby, if I just grab my leash, he's not going to go to the door. But if I grab my little dog purse that I have all of his little dog treats in, and his leash at the same time, then he goes to the door. That's higher order when it's a 2-part thing. Everyone okay with that? So in order to get the dogs to drool, Pavlov would have to hit this bell, hit that bell, and then the dogs would drool. If he just rang this bell, it wouldn't trigger a response. If he just rang this bell, there'd be no response. He'd have to do this, then this to get the response. Everyone good? All right. All right, so conditioned emotional response, fine. So the other guy out of classical conditioning is John B. Watson, who can explain the little Albert experiment. What do you got, Annie?
So he showed him a bunch of fluffy animals, and saw how he reacted to them. He wasn't scared of like anything before.
Okay.
He started showing him this little like white rat.
Mhm.
And like was scaring him and like making loud noises and using that like mask like when he
Okay.
was, like, introduced to the rat. So like this.
And then that was at the very end of his conditioning.
The mask.
The mask was at the end, yeah.
Okay, so then just the noises and like scaring him and stuff.
Okay, so what did we learn from John B. Watts' experiment? There's two things. Give me one, Macy.
Generalization.
And what is that?
He wasn't, the little Albert generalized his fear to not only white rats, but he generalized it to anything white and furry, so even coats.
Perfect. Coats. He generalized it to the monkey. Remember, he got to meet a monkey that day. What a great day until things went awry. But got to meet the monkey that day. Got to meet the bunny. All that stuff. He generalized. We only scared him with the rat. Then he got scared of everything else. What is the other thing we learned that day? Smith?
Discrimination.
Discrimination?
Yeah.
No.
Right?
No.
That's
It's
like
generalization. No, we
Yeah.
learned generalization from it.
Macy just said that.
Yeah, I know. We just talked about it. Generalization.
We didn't learn
What's the other one? There's two.
Oh.
What's the other thing we learned? Fear is what? Learned. Fear is learned. Absolutely. Okay. Fear is classically conditioned. If you hate spiders and you see a spider, do you like, oh man, there's a spider. I shall now scream. Or does it elicit an immediate response? It elicits an immediate response. Fear is learned. Okay. Fear is conditioned. That is how fear goes. All right. Taste aversion. If you don't, like, I don't eat sour cream. If sour cream touches anything I eat, it's dead to me. Because I ate sour cream once and I literally threw up like 5 minutes later and I've never eaten it again. Same thing with cream cheese. I threw it up immediately. If cream cheese touches anything I'm eating, I refuse. I literally get like, ugh. So classical conditioning is your taste aversions. All right, conditioning, that's fine. All right, operant conditioning. Now, there's three men behind operant conditioning. You have Thorndike. Thorndike is your big one. It's a law that if you, pleasurable consequence, if a response is followed by a pleasurable consequence, you're more likely to do it again. If something is followed by a negative consequence, you're likely not to do that again. Makes a lot of sense, correct? If every time you raised your hand in my class and you asked a question and I smacked you across the face, would you ask me any more questions? No. But if you raised your hand in my class and I said wonderful things about who you are as a person, would you raise your hand more? Okay? So that's the law of effect. Everything in operant condition is based on Thorndike. When we talk about the second guy whose major contribution is B.F. Skinner. B.F. Skinner is the guy with all the Skinner boxes, correct? Okay? He's the guy he's a behaviorist, so he only focuses on measurable behavior. He wants to see how learning dictates. So he's doing reinforcement. He talks about primary reinforcers and secondary. Primary is food, sex, water. Secondary is your money, your cars, your... What?
Gold stars.
Gold star, sure. Okay, I thought you said something totally different. And I was like, what the hell? Not in class, James. Not in class. Don't ask. Don't ask. What I heard and what he said. Okay, so with that being said, so all of your material stuff is going to be your secondary, not your primary. Now, this is where kids have a lot of issue every single year, and you're probably one of them. Okay, so positive reinforcement is reinforcement of response by the addition or experiencing of a pleasurable stimulus. Positive reinforcement means someone says something positive to you if you do it right. Someone gets you a cookie if you do something right. It's something you want. Now remember, when we're talking about operant conditioning, it's about choosing the option. You're choosing to get something or you're choosing to avoid something, correct? Positive reinforcement means you want this to happen because it's nice. Is everyone clear on that? So positive reinforcement is where people, makes sense. You deal with positive reinforcement hopefully way more than you deal with negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is of a response by the removal, escape, or the avoidance. Negative reinforcement is when your behavior is motivated by avoiding something. So, if every time you got a question wrong in my class, you know how we do the boards? You know how I get so mad? If instead of just getting mad at you and like staring you down because I'm mad, I just punched you in the face, first of all, highly effective, I would think. Wouldn't that be great? I got a good workout. Anyway, okay? If you were literally focusing on doing whatever you could so you didn't get punched in the face, that's negative reinforcement. Does that make sense? You're doing whatever it takes not to get punched in the face. Okay? Like for instance, if you break curfew, you get grounded, so you drive like a lunatic from the other side of Tampa to get home in time to avoid getting grounded. That's negative reinforcement. You are avoiding getting yelled at by negative reinforcement. Does that make sense? Hello? Okay. Positive, you're doing it because you want it. I want money. I come to work every day. Okay? I do my attendance every single day so Nelson doesn't yell at me. Fact.
Wouldn't that be negative?
It's negative reinforcement, yeah.
Oh,
That would be negative reinforcement. Sorry, I was trying to give the alternate. Okay? I literally do my attendance every day, not because it makes me happy and because I really am passionate about attendance, because I literally don't want to be called into Nelson's office for a second time this year to be yelled at for being terrible at administrative responsibilities. Fact. Okay? Do we see the difference between the two? Okay. All right, next then you have shaping, which is I slowly teach you something in order to make you better. Like, it's how you've been all year. Have you noticed? At the beginning of the year, I'm like super hands-on. Like I'm like involved in every single detail of the class. Now I usually just sit in my chair and just hang out. Yeah? Okay, shaping. Extinction, same type of thing. Generalized stimuli, spontaneous recovery. Punishment, this is where. So you have positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and then you have punishment. Punishment comes from an outside source wanting you not to do it again. Okay? So if you have a rat, and the rat isn't doing what you want, you give it a punishment in order for it not to do that, make that same decision again. It's about making the same decision again. So, a punishment would be if you miss curfew, you lose your phone for a week, correct? You don't want to lose your phone for a week. Can we agree? How terrible would that be? I don't know. I'm pretty attached to mine. If I had my phone taken away for a week, that would be pretty damn bad. I'm going to do whatever it takes to avoid that. And if I did get my phone taken away for a week, I wouldn't want that to happen again. Punishment. Okay? So if your parents give you a punishment and it ends up being pretty nice, is it an effective punishment? No. Like you're not allowed to like watch TV in the family room, so you have to watch TV by yourself. Okay? Is that a punishment? No. So what are you going to keep doing? Getting in trouble so you can watch TV by yourself and get away from your annoying little brother. All right, to the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, what type of learning is elicited? What type of learning is elicited? Good. What is it, Peyton? Classical. On your whiteboard, operant conditioning is by what? Operant conditioning is by what? Good, Vicky. Choice. Everything about operant condition is by choice. You choose to do something, you choose to avoid something. On your whiteboard, what is it called if Toby isn't happy with me because I didn't take him out fast enough? Not today because he's just sick. But so he pooped on my floor. So now I am like watching him like a hawk so he doesn't poop on my floor. This is an example of what? This is an example of what? Oh my God, is that my air conditioner? Good, I got one. I got two. Good. Come on, think about it. What is it? Peyton. Why is it negative reinforcement?
But you're not like punishing him. You're just kind of watching.
I'm watching overhand and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want this to happen again, so I got to do whatever I can to avoid it. Does that make sense? I'm trying to avoid it. If I'm avoiding something, it has to be negative reinforcement. All right, so Toby literally sits in the elevator every single time we're in it so he can get a treat. And he pretends like he's this lovely little angel when people are in the elevator because he sits there so perfectly. But it's not because he's an angel. It's because of why, James? And he'll get a treat. And my man is all about eating. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is this an example of? Okay, so Valeria cheated on her test. She now has a 0, and I called her mom, and I hate her. And I've told absolutely everyone about it, so now everyone knows. What is it, Valeria? Punishment. There you go. Why is that punishment and not negative reinforcement? I'm doing it so she doesn't do it again. I'm announcing it to her mother or her father. I'm announcing it to the entire class, and I make it damn clear I hate her. It's true. It's very true. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when? I, every year on my birthday, have to pay for my insurance. If I don't pay for my insurance on time on my birthday, I get a fee. So I'm like super paranoid about it because I don't want the fee. What is that? Good. Good. Yay. What is it? Smith. Negative reinforcement. Do we feel like we have a better grasp of it now? Yes, a little bit, because it is kind of tricky. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Do you hear that? You can almost. I'm almost drowned out by it.
You know?
Yeah, but it's like really nice outside though. All right. All right. Punishment by application is when your parents make you like wash the dishes instead of just being grounded. And punishment by. It's so nice though.
So nice.
It is like so nice. Yeah, but tonight, like we're leaving in like an hour and 10 minutes, and it will have all night to film.
As it turns out.
That's true. That's true. Oh my God, I can't wait to have my cold room back. All right, so punishment. If you're going to do punishment, it has to do immediately. At the beginning of this week, on your FRQ, we did all of our reinforcement schedules. Can I just leave it as that? You're good? Yes, we remember? Okay. Unless you want me to ring my bells, do you? I do have them ready to go. All right, so instinctive drift. This is always on there. Instinctive drift. So Angus, I was telling you, is Ren's dog who you can go pew, and he falls over, and he does like super other tons of cute little tricks. Toby cannot do any of them, by the way. With Ren, no matter how hard Ren works with Angus, Angus is never going to sit out on the kitchen table and cut his kibble and feed himself with a fork. There's just no way. I don't tell Ren, he's probably working on it at this moment, trying to like teach Angus how to cut with a knife. But there is only so much genetically that you can do and train and teach an animal, and it's called instinctive drift when you hit the limit of a dog's potential or a horse's or a cow's. Do cows have potential? Do cows have a skill? I mean, they let you like milk them. I mean, that's like a skill. Can you?
Or you just like lay down and just like roll over like
All right, fine. Cows. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a cow. A horse, like.
You can teach horses to do stuff. They can like jump
Yes, but you
over.
can't like teach a horse to like ride a motorcycle. Like
No,
that's
but
like that's instinctive drift.
You can teach a monkey too.
All right, so behavior modification, which we've talked about like 10,000 times in the history of time, token economy, times out, all that crap. Yes. Okay, biofeedback, neurofeedback. Okay, that's it for that. All right, so on your whiteboard, please tell me who are the three major players in operant conditioning, please. Who are my three major players in operant conditioning? No, operant. Operant. I have two. There's three of them. Is it two? Thorndike, Skinner,
Who else? Not
Watson.
Watson's classical. There's another guy though. There's another guy.
Clearly not though.
There's gotta be. There really is. I had it earlier. Anyway, okay, on your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the famous experiment by John B. Watson? Good, good. What is it, Valeria? Little Albert. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman behind Insight? He's the guy with the monkeys. Remember how I showed you the video? No, that's rats. Good. Gorbachev. Why the hell are you writing Gorbachev? Kohler and Gorbachev, nothing similar. Gorbachev is Russian.
Well, I just know the O's like this. And Kohler.
Kohler.
I don't know.
Kohler. Kohler. Trotsky's Russian as well. On your whiteboard, please tell me what's the name of the guy behind the rats and latent learning. They're like the most boring experiment in the history of time, remember? I guess the little cognitive dissonance is worse. That was pretty damn bad. What is it, Hannah? All right, here we go. So, Tolman is your Latin learning. He's the guy with the rats, remember? Okay, Latin learning is there's no reinforcement is necessary. Okay, so when he did his little rat race, okay, the rats learned the map without getting any cheese or whatever they give them, yes? They learned it. Did they learn it quick or was it really slow? Really slow, but did they learn it?
Yeah.
So when he introduced reinforcement weeks later after they learned the map, what happened when he added reinforcement? They got faster. So latent learning tells us learning does happen without reinforcement, but reinforcement makes it faster. That's the big thing about latent learning. It's the Tolman, it's the rat guy. All right, insight learning is going to be Kohler. Kohler is the guy, remember how I showed you the little monkey who we put the peanut in the cylinder? And then the monkey's like, and then eventually he got the water and then got the peanut and you were all like mystified that you were outsmarted by a chimp because you couldn't figure out how you would do it either. I didn't either. I was pretty damn impressed by it the first time I saw it. Okay, Kohler's also the guy with the stick, the two parts of the stick that the monkey put them together. They could reach the banana on the outside. All of that is done by Kohler. Okay, trial and error. Of course, we remember our learned helplessness. Who's the guy behind learned helplessness? Who can tell me? Who is it, Hannah? Silgman. And what is learned helplessness? What is his experiment, Hannah? Depressed dogs. Remember how we electrocuted 100%, then 90, then 80, then 70, then 60, all the way through? And the dogs didn't even try moving? All right, guys, your Barron's book is due tomorrow. Have a good day. Are you guys in social right now?
Yeah, last chapter. I think there's only Thorndike and Skinner in this minute.
Thorndike. No, there's what? Kohler.